Did I make the forms strong enough? Are there defects in the 2x4s that might cause them to break under pressure? My cat seems a little worried about these kickers. I try to calm her fears, but maybe I should add a few more kickers. The pump truck is here, and I'm out of time. The stress test is about to begin. Chad Knoll came back to help with the pour. We were supposed to have a third guy, but he didn't show. This meant Chad and myself needed to rush around, so at the start, I didn't have a free hand to set up the camera or turn it on. What you're seeing here is the second half of the pour, where we poured the top layer or the top half of the wall. We poured in 2 layers so that the bottom half had a chance to firm up a little bit first. This took a little pressure off the bottom of the forms. While Chad guides the hose, I'm using a piece of rebar to mix these 2 layers together, so there won't be a joint between the 2 pours. Here, I'm using a hammer to vibrate the forms and get concrete into every nook and cranny. We don't use a mechanical vibrator for this because it can shake too much, and the forms could separate. While the plywood did bow out a 1/4 of an inch here and there, overall, it stayed put. The plan worked. Our forms held. We added anchor bolts every 4 feet. We smoothed out the top of the wall. And that was it. The pour was complete. It was time to tear off the formwork and see how we did. Pulling the kickers off was easy. Prying up the anchored duplex nails was not. There's a right tool for every job. Turns out I did not currently own that tool. Through the magic of editing, fast forward a couple hours. Oh yeah, that's better. I had about 1,000 of these bolts to remove. Easy peasy. And finally, the plywood. The concrete-covered plywood was heavier than I thought it would be. One wall down, 21 to go. This brings us to the final form I had to remove, the inner circle. The inner circle works like an arch, so I'm going to be pulling down against the strength of an arch to get this thing off the concrete. I learned this technique from watching videos about apes. Step 1. Establish dominance over the plywood through weight superiority. Step 2. Hit the plywood as hard as you can with a heavy stick. Then repeat. The foundation is complete. Pretty much. One more thing. George, the electrical engineer, told me to expect a phone call at 3. Hello.
Hello, this is Turk.
Yes, sir.
This is Gary with OK Ground Resource Management.
Yes, I was told you'd call.
Did George share his findings with you?
He did not.
Have you had a chance to look at the email we sent?
George had mentioned that he'd found something odd, and that he'd passed my data on to another engineer to verify it. I'd hoped they'd found oil, and I could start upgrading my house plans. Looking at it? I don't know what I'm looking at.
Go to the image of transect B1 through B3.
Okay.
Do you see the orange-colored areas approximately 30 feet below ground?
Yes.
Orange indicates a void.
Like, caves?
They appear to be tunnels.
How big are the tunnels?
Approximately 6 feet tall, 3 feet wide. The length goes beyond the edge of the property. We'd like to come out and scan the property again. What day would work best?
I could give you guys a call after the house is built, and we could see about setting that up.
Perfect. Let us know when you're ready.
Sure. Goodbye. Next up, we start framing the house.